So now we're just waiting for tech and for our national focuses to finish and for Germany to start some shit.
Look at FDR,
I know.
all New Age liberal and
He's
polio-ridden and great leader.
He's a handsome guy in Hearts of Iron 4. They were very kind to him.
They were very kind.
They did some soft lighting. They made him.
They're not showing the wheelchair either.
They made him a handsome dude. Not that he was ugly, really.
Dude.
All right, so this is our first big decision, industry-wise. We can go for concentrated industry, which increases our industrial output flat out. Or we can go for dispersed industry, which gives us a smaller bonus, but makes us less vulnerable to strategic bombing and allows us to retain more production efficiency when we swap out production lines.
I'd say go with that one based on our foreign policy.
Now, I don't know that we'll be facing a lot of strategic bombing unless we lose the war in the Pacific and Japan takes Hawaii, and even then, that's a long way for strategic bombers to fly.
True.
We could face pressure if Germany somehow takes Greenland, but
I'm more looking at it from if we pursue the Monroe Doctrine and Europe responds hostily, then it could be that we're on our own for a lot of production lines. I'm more thinking for the swapping out bonus.
I don't know. What do you think, chat? We have a 50-50 split on this. So you think we should go with dispersed industry or concentrated industry? I'll wait 30 seconds just to hear chat's opinion on that. Check out our logistics screen.
I just think the ability to swap out and be self-sufficient is a compelling
Manson
argument.
says, I concur, U.S. is so deep that bombing inland seems very unlikely. Way too long to fly. You can easily defend that with fighters. Concentrated. Wait for a couple more responses. Looks like, wow,
looks like concentrated is
we need like 20,000 infantry equipment to supply all of our divisions. I hope we don't go to war soon. All right, chat has spoken. We'll go for concentrated industry. I think that is generally the better route to go for the United States. If you're in Europe, it's really a toss-up. Japan, but like Japan and the U.S., I think concentrated ends up getting you more bang for your buck in the long run.
Alrighty, here we go.
Let's see, we can support Rock Island, which will give us more tech bonuses towards support equipment, and then we
support equipment is how modern war is won.
Start down that Monroe tree.
Support equipment is how modern war is won.
Oh, I do have some free civilian factories. Thanks for pointing that out. Only 4 of them, so it's not like we completely lost track of what we were doing. We have built up all of our infrastructure in Colorado, so we'll go ahead. We'll throw Utah a bone.
That's right.
Let's also do some military factories in Nevada. Historically accurate.
We got you, Utah.
And, yeah. We got some free military factories. We can build some more. I don't really want to assign too many to fighters, because these are some shitty-ass fighters right here.
Yes, they are.
FF Fifi Interwar Carrier Fighter. They are carrier capable, so that's cool, but it's basically a toy plane with some guns on it. I mean, I'm sorry, I apologize to the Wright brothers, but that's not a real airplane.
They did the best they could do with what they had.
They
what they had on hand. Come on.
Yeah. So we're a little bit ahead of time.
They had some cardboard and some elbow grease, bro.
We're a little bit ahead of time on industrial tech. Might as well research. Well, we started land doctrines yet. So we could research the radio, which helps us reinforce our units. We could start getting better infantry support weapons. Probably aren't going to need tanks for a while. Let's see. Oh, we could also research some better boat models. What do you think? What are you feeling right now? What do we need most urgently?
I'm looking at just in terms of the ability to be most dominant. I would advise counsel towards flexibility.
Okay.
What gives you the greatest ability to handle your business in a variety of places without any help?
Well, you know what? You know what we should do? We should get the USMC going.
I would agree.
So we definitely want to be able to train Marine divisions.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
By the time we get to South America, let me tell you, I've tried this before. If you try to invade across the Amazon basin, you're going to have a bad time. You can have the largest, most advanced army in the world, and you're going to have a bad time. So if we had to go to war with, like, say, Brazil, because they're despicable neutrals, as you can see, we
not
probably...
for long, they're not.
Yeah, we're probably going to want to...
have Marines.
Do the carriers for bases deal with England, and then launch some naval invasions from Trinidad or something like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get the first level of Marines, and then we also have a national focus that'll give us a research bonus towards the upgraded version of Marines. So that'll be good. If anybody's wondering why I have not been messing with our division templates yet, that's because we need a shitload of reinforcements.
Well, and that's historically accurate as well.
Yeah.
The United States, as an all-volunteer army in the 30s, was shockingly tiny. I just finished rereading, in preparation for the stream, actually, rereading some of my historical primers on World War II and its beginnings and whatnot. It's one of the numbers that stood out to me. I'd forgotten that our standing army got so small after WW1. It was like, all right, well, there you go. It's like 100,000 men or something.
Rogue Destroyer, we don't plan to conquer the world, but we plan to make the world safe for democracy by force. So, if your circle's blue,
you're
good with us. If it's any other color, not so much.
No.
So
Woodrow Wilson didn't go far enough in our book.
No. So we're going to go ahead and start the Reaffirm the Monroe Doctrine tree. Dating over a 100 years back. Paradox. Found another typo. The Monroe Doctrine codified U.S. intervention in the case of European attempts to colonize the Americas, but stay out of European affairs. Strengthening our role as peacekeepers on these continents will improve our influence in the region.
And influence in the region is kind of the linchpin of this playthrough.
Right. And thank you to chat for pointing out I should allocate more factories to infantry equipment since we're running such a large deficit on it. We have plenty of towed artillery, we just really need more support and infantry equipment. The games of the 11th Olympiad. German athletes won 33 gold medals. Americans came in second with 24.
With Jesse Owens making history with
good old Jesse Owens,
historically dominant performance.
Indeed. Didn't they just do a movie about that recently?
They did, and it was actually quite good, in my opinion. It was quite good.
Right on.
I have my criticisms, but overall it was a fairly solid picture, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
A lot of these World War II era, circa 1930s, 1940s inspirational picks have become very common in recent years, and they sort of blur together. So I'm hoping I'm thinking of the right movie.
I do like the country-specific models, like the American GIs with the accurate jackets and the M1. Those are pretty cool. All right, we can continue on to the mobile defense step of our doctrine, which will allow us to have the elastic defense tactic, which is pretty awesome. It counters blitz, which is something our enemies are going to be using a lot. Actually, elastic defense, very, very reminiscent of Hannibal's tactics at Cannae. I believe that's sort of where that came from.
Well, and
bending your line back so you can envelop the attacking
It embraces a new, more mobile style of warfare. It's not rigid like it was in the frickin' 1915, 1916.
All right, we have reaffirmed the Monroe Doctrine.
It's been reaffirmed.
So, now, before we can get to Pax Americana, we have to bring all of these 4 areas into our sphere. South America, the neighbors, Mexico and Canada, Central America, and the Caribbean. I think we should probably start with this, because Mexico's right next door, and...
The neighbors seems as logical.
Right.
Why not start with your frickin' doorstep? Some would say doormat.
And if this happens to trigger a democratic civil war in Mexico, we can just march right on in, and then give us a gateway to some of the other nations.
Do what we do. You want some freedom? Here you go.
You don't want some freedom? Here you go anyway.
Freedom at the point of a bayonet is the sweetest freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Just trust us on that.
Yep.
The Dutch confirmed for fascist.
No, it is. I agree. The fascist color looks more orange to me than brown.
It is a brown orange. I will weigh in.
Orangish brown, but I would say it's mostly brown. Like it's supposed to evoke the brown shirts that the fascists.
Your monitor's not calibrated.
That's true. My monitor also has terrible color calibration. All right, so we have the election of 1936. The day of the presidential election has arrived. Incumbent Franklin Delano Roosevelt has already implemented several of the programs referred collectively to as the New Deal, intended to take the U.S. out of the Great Depression. While many of the efforts have been popular, his plans to further extend the role and power of government have been met with criticism from his opponent, Republican Alf Landon. Coming from the oil industry, Landon wants to see greater economic freedom, while Roosevelt and the Democratic Party want to expand Social Security and ensure economic stability. The election may be a close call or a major victory for the Democrats. Historically, it was a major victory for the Democrats. So if we go 4 more years, we gain the New Deal national spirit, which gives us infrastructure construction speed plus 20% and 10% national unity.
That's good.
Which is really good, because we're currently only at 60, which is
the
not
Great
great.
Depression has done its damage.
Right. So if we go with the Republicans, we gain Standard Oil Company as a official government firm, which gives us minus 10 industrial research time, which is also pretty good. And Staunch Constitutionalist, which gives us an additional plus 50% ideology drift defense.
I would say,
which we don't
given
really
the
need.
crisis facing the nation currently, that makes more sense. It
Yeah,
just does.
definitely.
Seems like
gonna-
picking the bottom option would be more of a long-term play,
Yeah,
like an intentional...
Look, don't get me wrong, minus 10 industrial is really good, but the other thing that makes this not a great option is that we can just go ahead and hire Standard Oil ourselves for 150 political power whenever we want to. So we'll stick with FDR. I think he's the right man for the nation right now. And now we have the New Deal.
Infrastructure construction speed
Very
sped
helpful.
up.
I have 2 slots open. We're still a little bit ahead of time on this industrial tech. Let's see. Probably should get some better support weapons, just in case we have to go to war with Mexico. And since we're wasting so much production on like these shitty naval fighters, why don't we go ahead and get some P-40 Warhawks going?
Why not?
Yeah.
The Warhawk wasn't complete crap,
No.
considering the design limitations of the era.
No, I don't think there are very many U.S. planes from World War II that you could call crap. I mean, USSR might indeed try to export communism to the United States, but you know what we say to that? We say, enjoy the attrition in Alaska. That's what we say. Oh, by the way,
Alaska
Defense Command is going to be their own army. We do have Dwight Eisenhower now. Did he appear, or was he an option before? I feel like I'm missing like major historical generals. Yeah, we'll give them Lucian Truscott, and we'll just name this whole army Alaska Defense Command. All right. Okay, yeah, it's still saying we have low manpower, but that's okay. We will change
The
that
Almighty
in time.
Slayer of Doom. We have reaffirmed the Monroe Doctrine. That is our plan.
So that gave us a shitload of political power. We can add
Oh, Oppie.
another government minister, armament organizer, war industrialist would be really good right now. Actually, Standard Oil and their minus 10 industrial research time. Let's go ahead and pick them up. That'll be helpful. So, because we took this focus, Mexico should be drifting toward democracy.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. I don't know if it's kicked in yet. So we want to go Caribbean or Central America first.
Caribbean's closer.
My inclination would be the Caribbean for one specific reason.
Military flexibility, bruh.
Chromium is a resource we need to build a lot of advanced stuff, and Cuba has a shitload of it. So keeping them from becoming communist as they did historically is probably in our best interest.
Not to mention military bases in the Caribbean kind of help us police our sphere, I would imagine, more effectively.
Oh, yeah. By the way, could we start a faction yet? Like, if I wanted to invite Mexico to faction... So, oh yeah, they're not democratic yet. Who is Colombia? Create faction. Can't do it yet, but once we're at war, we probably can. If we don't end up joining the
We have to import those Cuban cigars. God, a Cuban cigar sounds good.
All right. So we can now research.
How does the American National Focus Tree look like? You want to give them?
Yeah, I'll show it to you again. So, we got the War Projects Administration tree over here, which is kind of our industrial tree. It allows us to get rid of a lot of the bad stuff like undisturbed isolation that the U.S. starts with, but it's all based on world tension. So a lot of these will not be available until world tension rises higher. This is the war bonds tree. That's how you get rid of the Great Depression. Also improves our industry, but you have to be at war for that to be available. Then this is our political tree. War Plan Black against Germany, War Plan White against the Soviet Union, War Plan Red against Britain, and War Plan Orange against Japan, depending on which ideology you want to go with. We've got our standard air doctrines. We got our ship tree, and then reaffirm the Monroe Doctrine, which is what we're using right now. It gives you just piles of political power and allows you to bring all of the nations of the Americas into your sphere of influence.
The new world, free from the influence of the old at last.
Yes.
JM would be proud. Good old JM.
All right, we got some factories being built and freeing up. We can go ahead and I guess we could start expanding our infrastructure.
Why not take advantage of that New Deal bonus, man?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just build some interstate highways straight down the East Coast here and along the Gulf.
Smart.
Infrastructure builds pretty fast, so it's not really that bad that I'm spamming this. Kansas and Oklahoma, just so Colorado's connected to everything since we've made that our industrial heartland.
That's a pretty good
that'll be
start.
That'll do her.
Is there something related to the atom bomb development in our national focus tree?
Yes. So the United States has the Manhattan Project, which gives us 2 minus 50% reductions to researching atomic technology. So once we get to that point in the tech tree, we can research nuclear reactor at half cost, and then we can also research nuclear bombs at half cost, which means we will probably
be the first to
if we get that. If we take that focus, we will most likely be the first people to get the bomb, as is historical. So, I also am curious if there's any sort of event for like the German scientists coming over. Because that was a huge part of the U.S.
Oh, massive!
Getting the bomb before anyone else.
Not just important to say, not just German scientists.
Yeah, that's true. European scientists.
Enrico Fermi, man.
In general, yeah.
Fermi was very important.
Just waiting for this last civilian factory to finish in Colorado, and then I'll start putting some in another state because I always want to be producing civilian factories and military factories at full speed, at least one stack of them. Civilian. Let's go Ohio. I like to keep our military factories
in the heartland
centralized so that they will fall last.
Smart.
And then our civilian factories can be a little bit closer to the coast. Because we can still keep fighting as long as we have military factories. We can't really keep fighting if we run out of Earth.
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
And also historically accurate.
Yeah.
The United States took advantage of its massive heartland.
Oh, wow. Like the popularity of the Democratic Party in Mexico has already risen by 3.5%. And we just finished the Caribbean Sphere mission. So we'll go ahead and do Central America and then South America. So nations that are already democratic get ideology drift defense. Ones that are not gain U.S. influence to increase the popularity of democracy in their
You
nation.
didn't set it. It looked like to me.
Oh. Yep. You're correct.
Yeah.
And now that we have more political power, it's really weird that the U.S. doesn't have an industrial theorist. I guess let's... Well... Superior Firepower Expert. Because
That's army experience.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We should probably start ticking up some army experiences. Since we're not actually fighting right now. Oh! Also, I'm dumb. We should be exercising all of our troops to get them from trained up to regular. That was a major mistake on my part.
Plenty of time to correct that mistake, though. I don't think that'll be dispositive.
Oh yeah, we've got all these like Pacific garrisons too. So which will also gain us more army experience, although it will cost us manpower. That's okay though. I guess he should be part of the Alaska Defense Force.
Jumping jacks, an old school fitness tool.
Yes.
Used to do 500 a day.
It's gonna be a new theater. We'll call this the... Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, I have to click on this. So this is the American theater. Actually, we'll call this the home front.
Apt.
And then this will be the Pacific theater.
Don't want to have a surprise Angelus from Canada. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good luck with that.
We'll assign these guys to Panzer Leader. No. McNair. Trickster. That'll work.
Yeah.
Lawton Collins. Go ahead and start exercising them. So our army experience should start to more or less skyrocket. Build more military factories. Make sure we're still building military factories. Yes, we are. We're going to be needing to build some more, though. Nebraska, Kansas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas. Just going to position these so that they'll take over production before the infrastructure projects will. Actually, I'll wait to do that. Alright. Situation in Europe so far. Anschluss of Austria has not happened. Sudetenland has not happened, so
good
we're
stuff.
on the march to war, albeit slowly. I think we can research, yeah, next level of industry will be very helpful. It'll allow us to build more factories in more places.
Which how goes your infrastructure projects? Have they even begun?
Yeah, they're using our spare factories, since most of our factories are building more factories, but they're coming along.
Good.
New England. Infrastructure doesn't take that long to build.
And we have a bonus with the New Deal.
Yeah, it only has a 3,000 construction cost compared to a civilian factory, which is 7,200.